We're hot off the drama of the Mexican Grand Prix, but there is no rest. We're headed into the final race of this triple header. It's round 21 at Brazil. The Brazilian Grand Prix, also known as the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, is held at the Autódromo José Carlos Pace in the Interlagos neighbourhood. This is why it's also known as Interlagos. The race takes place over 71 laps of the 4.3 kilometre long circuit. And it's another sprint weekend, so expect some surprises. The driver with the most wins at Interlagos is actually Alain Prost with 6, and McLaren are the constructor with the most wins in total with 12. The track has 15 official corners, but some of those are definitely not corners for a Formula 1 car. It's a mixture of fast and flowing corners, starting with a very long pit straight, and then you head into a slower infield section after turn 7. A set of corners that could work well for Ferrari. There are only 2 DRS zones available, one down that long pit straight that I was just talking about, and then the second in between turns 3 and 4. The end of both of those DRS zones are the best overtaking points on the circuit. The last winner at Brazil was Max Verstappen, and considering Max hasn't won since, I can't believe I'm saying this, Spain on the 23rd of June, he'll be hoping for a change of fortunes. Of course, I'm talking about main Grand Prix, not including sprints. This weekend, the Pirelli tyre offerings are the C3, C4 and C5 compound tyres, the softest available in the range. Interestingly, last year the tyres were the C2, C3 and C4. Pirelli are hoping a softer compound this time around will open up more strategies. Interestingly though, the track has been resurfaced since last year, and it was only done recently, so that could throw up some curveballs. Pirelli have said this: the work was only recently completed, and the asphalt was then thoroughly cleaned using a high-pressure washing system that removes the sheen that usually appears on brand new bitumen, and this has also increased the abrasiveness of the surface. So on a weekend where Pirelli are bringing a softer range of tyres to a circuit that's just been resurfaced and is hosting another sprint weekend for good measure, FP1 will be critical for the drivers to get on top of their cars and setups. One person who will be hoping for a better weekend is of course Max Verstappen. Forgetting the penalties in Mexico for a second, once he served that penalty, he struggled for pace in the race. He ended up behind the 2 Mercedes drivers, but he fell further back from them rather than catching them, which is something the Red Bull team will be trying to analyse. One reason for this is the use of an old engine. During practice, he had an engine problem, and they switched it out to an older one in the pool. It's been reported that Max may take the pain of a 5-place grid penalty to give him some fresh power ahead of this weekend's race. Just quickly on Sergio Perez. While he said after the race weekend he was 100% gonna be with Red Bull next year, his boss isn't sharing the same sentiments. In fact, Christian Horner seemed to imply that Perez was under pressure, something that won't be a surprise to anyone. He said, "Look, it's a performance-based business. There comes a point in time that difficult decisions have to be made. Checo, again, has had a horrible weekend. Nothing has gone right for him. He knows F1 is a results-based business. Inevitably, when you're not delivering, then the spotlight is firmly on you." And finally, Mercedes are trying to decide if they will use their upgraded parts in Brazil or revert to the old spec. Both drivers will now have the updated floor available to them, but after Mexico, Lewis seemed keen to go back to the older spec that George was using during the race. We'll see what both drivers decide. That's it from me. I'll see you at the weekend for all the action.